Hey everyone, welcome to Disneyland Experience. We were fortunate enough to just get out of seeing Marvel's new movie Ant-Man. And I know a lot of people are kind of waiting for Marvel to slip up. Marvel has had a really good track record of making great movie after great movie after great movie, maybe with the exception of Iron Man 3, maybe. But they've just been nailing it, nailing it, nailing it, and everyone's waiting for that one movie where Marvel just completely drops the ball. Well, they're gonna have to keep waiting because Ant-Man is not that movie. Ant-Man is awesome. Um, it's a great movie. It's a great film. Is it as good as, say, I would say the first Avengers, Captain America: The Winter Soldier? Not quite. Guardians of the Galaxy level, not quite there as either. But it's definitely in the line of some of the very best movies that Marvel has done. So, uh, it's a great accomplishment. It's a fun film, and we're gonna kind of break it down here for you. One of the big things that really drives this movie is its characters and the heart behind each character. There's these are all 3D dimensional characters in the sense that none of them are come off flat. They all have backgrounds to them. They all kind of make sense in what they're looking for, what they're trying to accomplish. They're all fully developed. So yeah, no cookie cutter. And you actually really care about these characters, which is something that I know a lot of superhero movies get a lot of garbage for, saying that, well, you don't really care about when this person gets killed or gets hurt. Um, so why should you care if something bad happens to them? What makes you invested in the movie where you see these people get injured or kidnapped and you go, they'll get out of it. But with these characters, you actually really care what happened to them. You want them to do well, you want them to succeed, and I think that in itself um, really adds to the movie, and doesn't just make it one of those quote unquote superhero movies. It actually makes it its own little thing. So, well, little ant, but yeah. So that's really good. So it's the characters that really drive this movie. So we know this isn't Paul Rudd's first real big movie gig. Obviously, he is an established actor. He's an established big name actor. He's been in a lot of big movies, but no superhero movies. And his character is kind of a real, I would say, kind of man's man. Like, I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to him. I know I was throughout the movies, so um, yeah, he's quite likable. He's very, very, very funny in this. That's the thing about this movie. It's very much like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it catches you off guard by just how funny it is. I mean, even Michael Douglas, who you wouldn't think by looking at the trailers, thinking that like he's going to be one of the biggest comedy forces of this film, but he has a lot of really kind of playful, funny bits with Scott Lang, who is Paul Rudd, and yeah, it kind of hits you out of nowhere just how good and funny it is. So yeah, that in itself is really good. Now, Lost Evangeline Lilly is the emotional center of this movie, and as I was saying before, where you really care about what happens to characters in this movie, you want them to do well, but when things don't go well for them, it emotionally kind of, well, a little bit gets to you. You're really rooting for them. And Evangeline Lilly's character specifically is one where you will care about her. While you might not have cared about her in those Lord of the Rings movies, in this movie you will care for her. So, yeah, look forward to it. Now, everything in Ant-Man is not perfect. There are some parts of the movie that kind of drag a little bit. The villain isn't great. Corey Stoll brings all he can to this movie. He's the villain in Darren Cross, who is Yellow Jacket. The villains feel, as I was saying, the other characters feel very full-fledged, very 3D. He seems very flat, and I don't think it's the actor's fault. I think it's just hard. I know, surprise, surprise, a Marvel movie, the villain doesn't seem fully fledged out. It's hard to do, and I don't think it's his fault. I think he does the best he possibly can. Just playing a villain in a Marvel movie, I don't think it's the easiest thing in the world, and I'm not going to go into, again, so much spoilers. I do want to leave some things for you to go to the movie and enjoy. But in this, you're going to see that. You're going to kind of want the villain to be a little bit more. I think he does the best that he can do, but it's just not as good as it could have been. So the villain is one of my only negatives about this film. So something some people really liked about my early Jurassic World review was I mentioned, should you go see this movie in 3D? Should you go see this movie in not 3D? Well, this is a movie that was built for 3D, and yeah, it's another movie. You want to pay those extra bucks, and you want to go see it in 3D. There's a lot of scenes where the character's flying at the screen, or there's some actually 1 or 2 jump scares all about the 3D, and they're well done. It doesn't just seem gimmicky like this 3D was thrown there at the last minute. It seems like this movie was actually shot with the let's make this as good of an experience as possible, and the 3D really adds to it. So yeah, pay your little extra money, go see it in 3D. We saw it in AVX 3D. Go see it in that. It is well worth it. So to sum it all up, Marvel nails it out of the park one more time with Disney backing them up in the corner. It is a great film. I have already done my review of the 2 post scenes, the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene. They will be up on our channel every so often. There's a video explaining how you can go about seeing those that I'll put a link in this video for, so you can click on that. I'm not going to go into details of those scenes in this video anyway, as I think that should be a surprise. Those scenes, especially the end credit scene, is going to be something where people are going to be really excited about upcoming Marvel movies. So I'm not going to spoil that, but by all means, if you want to see it, subscribe, and yeah, you'll be able to see those videos at Disneyland Experience right here on our YouTube channel. More information in that other video that you guys can go and check out. Oh, and one last final thing here. Scott Lang has a trio of his crime buddies, Lewis, Dave, and Kurt. I'm just going to say right now, by far, the funniest parts of the entire movie are these 3 guys right here. So look forward to that, and come back and say, you know what, Disneyland Experience, you were 100% right. I honestly think those guys really made the movie. So that's, again, that is Lewis, Dave, and Kurt are Scott Lang's 3 criminal buddies. They're just awesome. So thank you for listening to our early review of Ant-Man. We thought, again, it was awesome. Doesn't go in the best movies that Marvel has ever done, but it's definitely in the upward of their good movies. It's well worth your money, well worth seeing a full price, and well worth that extra money to go and see it in 3D. But for everything else, Marvel, Star Wars, anything else Disney, including those Disney parks, and Disney's birthday is coming up on July the 17th. We're going to have a ton of coverage about that. But honestly, anything that we decide to cover and there, please subscribe and keep it locked right here to Disneyland Experience. I love you guys. I'll see you later.